Hello, everyone. Welcome to the first episode of Till Talks. Till Talks is a community, a conversation, and a cohort where we basically talk on multiple aspects of how brands basically work, they perform, and they're truly built with a purpose. And today, we are going to be taking care of certain sections in the luxury brand management with the very same book. Hi, I am Nihil Kumar. I am the co-founder and CEO at Brand Links Global. We are a brand consulting and brand transformation company. Today with us, we have brand strategist Rheanne Quadros, who is the co-host with us, and a special speaker as as the founder of Fell Socials, Faith. And I really welcome you, Faith, to give us your precious time. And I welcome you to have your time, your energy, and your insights with us today. So I'd like to
Okay.
understand more about you and your overall experience and how everything is all about you.
Okay. All right. Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me. I'm Nwobu, the founder of Health Socials and also a luxury social media expert and strategist. And I've been in the luxury industry for 5 years. Various experience with brand niche from the fashion to real estate to interiors to different niches in the luxury world, and I've had my own difficulties, I've had my own fear, I've had my own experiences, my real life experience, direct experiences with luxury brand owners, and I'm so excited to be in this show. It's a pleasure.
That's really pleasing to hear. And Rhiannon,
Thank
we'd like
you.
to hear from you that how you reach this stage and what all exactly have you been all around during your
Thanks, Neil. So, I also come from a similar background of luxury experiences, luxury brand building. And for the past, I would say 2 years, I've been involved in shaping how a brand looks, how it sounds, a lot from visual identity, messaging, the nitty gritty. But from not just the creative side of branding, I look at what's behind it, who's thinking about it, who we're speaking to, what do actually people really care about when it comes to a brand and making it all together come to make sense.
Okay.
So I'm really excited for this first episode of Till Talks, and let's have some fruitful conversation.
So, I actually have a small question. Now, of course, both of you ladies have been coming from the luxury brand aspects within your journey. So, like how people basically can already understand that, okay, how these luxury brands are perceived at the end. But when it comes to the end of a creator, how different is it to shape a luxury brand? Whereas, how different is it to create a brand which is just like any other normal? How different that workflow is for you as a creator, Faith.
I didn't get that. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm saying that as a creator, as a
All
brand builder,
right.
how different do you feel that building a luxury brand out there or building a normal brand out there differs
Oh, the difference between building a luxury brand and building a normal
as a
brand.
creator?
As a creator, okay, all right. So, personally, I feel many people do not know the difference between building a normal brand and building a luxury brand. Let's take fashion for example. You want to build a fashion brand and you want to build a luxury fashion brand. There are a lot of points to consider. There are a lot of points to like talk about or think about before you differentiate them. So as a creator, I would say you can go ahead to build your normal brand if you're looking for profit, if you're looking for money, if you're looking to just like make meet and meet. But when it comes to luxury, you're thinking about longevity, you're thinking about heritage, you're thinking about story, something deeper, you're thinking about storytelling over the finance that will be coming from it. Definitely, luxury would give you a lot of finance and money, but definitely when you want to think luxury, you're thinking in a different term. So
Yeah.
luxury is not just about sitting and just saying you want to make something out of particular branding. No, luxury is about
Mm.
sitting and trying to like tell a story that would make a difference. Because you could actually build a brand that every
Mm.
other person has. I mean, you could be like 10 of you in a particular state telling the same thing. But luxury
Yeah.
is just you in an entire city trying to
What makes you
create
different
something
from those
different.
10 of that state?
Yes. Yeah, exactly. So it's about the storytelling, the heritage, where it comes from, the fact that you could give exclusivity that the others would not give, the fact that you can perceive another person than the remaining brands
Hmm.
would, the fact that you could make the consumer or your customer feel very, very different from a certain person. Because if I'm to buy a bag from a normal brand and I'm to buy
Yeah.
a bag from a luxury brand, I could buy
Hmm.
a bag from a normal person just for the fact that I'm buying a bag. But if I'm buying
Yeah.
a bag from a luxury brand, I'm not buying it because it's expensive. I'm not buying because it's luxurious. I'm buying it because it's telling me something that every other person cannot tell me. So if you want
Yeah.
to start up a luxury brand, you should be very, very particular about what you're selling, the
Hmm.
emotions you're selling, the perception you're
Hmm.
selling, the story
Hmm.
you're selling. So that's what
Yeah.
differentiates a luxury brand from a normal brand.
Yeah.
So, any specific instance which ever actually happened with you while you were creating any brand from scratch, a luxury brand from scratch, and that was like a bit
All right.
of the journey.
Okay. So there was this fashion woman that wanted to like create um she's a fashionable person, so that's what I'm using her for an example. So she wanted
Hmm.
to make I was trying to start up a luxurious brand for only brides, brides and brides created gowns
Okay.
and dresses. And we have a lot of fashion designers, like a lot of fashion designers in this world,
Yeah.
wherever we find ourselves, everybody is so skilled. Everybody can make a bridal clothes. But if you want to stand out as a fashion, luxurious bride
Hmm.
dressmaker,
Hmm.
I had to make her understand that what exactly is your aim of actually setting up this brand. That's the first thing many people find difficult. Why are you doing this? Your aim, your mission, your vision, and your objective, are they standing the test of time? So if you're not
Hmm.
standing the test of time, it can't be luxurious, because luxury is
Hmm.
not supposed to be recreated. It's supposed to be reinvented. Like when
Hmm.
it comes to this particular place, it doesn't just evolve easily. You just rearrange it because it's the same foundation from the beginning.
Yeah.
So if you're gonna be starting it in 2025, you must make sure that whatever vision, whatever mission you're trying to achieve, being that luxury brand, in
Hmm.
2050, it should still stand. It should stand the test of time. It's not like when it's
Hmm.
maybe when you're dead or when you're not alive or when you're older and the brand dies. That's not what luxury brand is about. So I had to make
Hmm.
her understand that what are your aims? Oh, she's like, oh yeah, she wants this to be luxurious. I was like, all right, that's the next thing. And the next, I told her that the next thing you're gonna think about is how are you gonna be by yourself? How are you gonna be different? Because compared to every other brand that push themselves out there, that looks desperate, can look desperate as a
Hmm.
fashion, as a luxury brand. No, that's not
Hmm.
what
Hmm.
luxury brand entails. No, you have to be
Hmm.
different. You don't chase trends. You create
Yeah.
trends. And doing that is very, very difficult, especially in this world of technology. I mean, we have
Hmm.
everything at we could just easily go to
Yeah.
our systems, go to AI solutions. If you're about to build something, you have to sit down with yourself. You have to, because
Yeah.
they can only be one you. So if you are creating a luxury brand
Hmm.
personally, that means you have to like create it in a way that nobody else would look at it that way. So
Also,
I was
to
like,
add
are
to
you
you, Faith, it's like I see a lot of brands like nowadays, there's a really common pattern of people putting their prices on everything.
Yeah.
It's very
oh
clear, very bold that you put your prices. But as a
mm-hmm.
wedding gown, if you're selling wedding gowns, you wouldn't just put your prices blaringly up, right? Because that's not the goal. So
No, no,
definitely,
exactly. Yes.
you want
Yeah.
that experience of coming in. You are the special person on that day and you want to be able to buy it. Doesn't matter if it's like
Yeah.
How
thousands.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah, you're not selling the price. Yes, you're,
Yeah.
you're not selling the price. You're selling what I'm gonna feel like in that dress. And
Mm,
as soon as she discovers or she finds out that this mindset is what she has, that she's trying to
mm,
sell the story that if
mm,
you be my bride, if I dress you on your wedding, this is how you're gonna feel among thousands of women.
mm,
If you can tell that story, I mean,
mm,
that's what differentiates you from a normal bride dress maker. So I have to make
mm.
her understand that it is quality over quantity. You do not
Definitely.
have to please everybody. No, you're not pleasing everybody. If it's just that one person that you make her feel like she's the biggest bride in the whole world. That's what makes you luxurious. And,
Hmm.
it was difficult at first, but, along the line, she started perceiving luxury in a different way. And right now, she's doing
Hmm.
amazingly well. Yeah, she's doing good.
Would agree. And even if you would have seen that, especially these companies out there, when we talk about the pure heritage and luxury segment, putting up a price somewhere or the other fluctuates the desire and the curiosity for a customer somewhere to, grab that. Let's say the customer is able to somewhere understand, okay, this is simply achievable. This is affordable to me. That way, the desire simply gets cut down when they see a specific price tag. But luxury brands even need to have this one segment of making people feel much more desirable yet mysterious. That
Hmm.
you need to
Yeah.
slow and steady
Hmm.
explore with your own effort. That
Hmm.
what is it all about? How is it
Mm.
made of? Like how is it made? How much does it cost?
Mm-hmm.
And how can I achieve it? So that mystery in a consumer's head makes it much more prestigious as a reputation. But when
Yes.
everything is being served somewhere or the other, it is kind of getting a value driven product in a consumer's life.
Hmm.
What are your opinions, Rheanne and Faith, on this?
Okay, I
I
think
mean,
Rhiannon.
Neil, like what you're trying to say is very true. We have these two segments, right?
Hmm.
That we've been seeing. Like, for example, Gucci. They're known for loud luxury. They're known for being very loud. Even if it's a luxury price point, it's loud. But as time is going, there are multiple segments where we as common people may not even know about these kind of luxury brands because they're just very unattainable, right? This quiet luxury is where people of that HNI segment really come in.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the goal ultimately to, as Faith was saying, to stand the test of time.
Yeah.
That's kind of the goal that
Yeah.
you want to reach with that segment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, I totally agree with Rhiannon. And hell yeah, you made a very good point about being mysterious when it comes to luxury. Because to be sincere, literally every brand just puts their work or puts whatever they're selling, whatever services they're selling and the price tag. And I just feel the price at times diminishing like it diminishes what the service or what the goods would actually do to you. Because at the end of the day, I'm not patronizing you because of how much. So why should you
Hmm.
put that price to my face? No, I don't want that. You
Yeah.
get, in fact, make me intrigued, make me feel like let there be suspense. Let me know, like
Hmm.
this thing. I feel so like this way about this thing. What exactly does this thing confirm? Like, what
Yeah.
exactly is it all about? Is it about the
Yeah.
pricing? Is it like just like I said? What does it? Is it what the materials down to how it was created?
Yeah.
Hmm.
There's a thing that say luxury is not about putting everything out there. It's about keeping everything actually to yourself. You just put a little, draw
Hmm.
them in. And it's just
Hmm.
marketing skills, but you draw them in. You don't put everything out there because once it's out
Hmm.
there, it's not luxurious again. So why would I want to get something that is at everybody's disposal? I don't
Yeah.
want that. So
Yeah.
mystery also works well. Yes, thank you for that, Neil.
That's a pleasure.
Hmm.
So, I'd like to hear from you. That I already had a couple of curiosities, which I had amazing insights from this. So, but I would love to share more about such segments, and I welcome you to have your set of questions where I would love to answer.
Okay, all right. Although I would like to talk about brand strategy as luxury social media strategies as one of the segments I would like to talk about because I noticed that many brands have issues with setting up brand strategy, especially as a luxury brand. Yeah, we already all touched about it a little, but I feel there's more to it that people don't know, especially being luxury brand owners. And everybody thinks brand strategy or building a brand is all about logo, taglines, but this doesn't work out when it comes to luxury. Luxury is deeper than that. Luxury is more detailed than that. In luxury, it's about the DNA of your brand, not just the color, but
Yeah.
what your brand represents. There are a lot of luxury brands in the world today without even seeing what they look like, just the way they've been perceived, this is this brand, that's that brand. And that's what the strategy is all about. So you can't sit and say you want to build a strategy just by your logo or by your color or by your font. It goes deeper than that. So what does brand strategy in luxury really mean? It means consistency. I mean, that's the
Hmm.
biggest and that's the number one factor being consistent because it's easy to start off something, but to be consistent about it, down to every value, down to everything. Consistency doesn't mean, this year you do the next year you do the next year you do. No, that's not consistency. You're just trying new
Mm,
things, and before you know, you're everywhere. Consistency is what you started with. No matter the ups, no matter the down, you're sticking with it because you are building a legacy. You're
mm,
building heritage. You get what I'm trying? You're building something with it. So consistency matters, when trying to like create a strategy that will stand the test of time. Unlike the mass markets today that just like reinvent themselves every time,
mm.
every moment,
Yeah.
when they see the Gen Zs are into something new, they reinvent down to the Gen Zs. And when they see the millennium are into this, they go down.
Mm,
Like they just reinvent it, trying to please people. As luxury, don't do that. As
mm,
as a luxury brand, people would always come to you. I mean,
mm,
let it be the next 50 years, they would always come to you. So when you're building a strategy, you have to build with that kind of precision that it has to like stand the test of time. Like there has to be things to it.
mm,
When we talk about this thing, we talk about heritage and storytelling. I feel like every luxury brand always have a myth. There's always a myth. There's this mystery. That's what drives the vibe. That's what differentiates a certain fashion brand from a certain fashion luxury brand. That what
mm.
differentiate a luxury car brand to another one. The storytelling. Every brand has the story. Every car has a story. Every
Yeah.
resources brand has a story. So when you're strategizing, you have to focus on that heritage and the story. Because at the end of the day, some people don't even buy a luxury item because of the words or because of they just buy it to keep at home. They don't use it.
Mm,
Most don't use this luxury items. You see a lot of expensive luxury resources that they just pass down generations, pass down legacies, antiques and all. They are luxurious things, but they're not buying it to use it. You're not buying it to take it outside, no. But because of the heritage, because of the storytelling, because of how this thing makes them feel. So if you strategize then as a luxury owner or a luxury brand owner or an intending luxury brand owner, you should look at this heritage, look at storytelling, give us philosophy,
mm.
give us something intriguing. Just like the restaurants Japan that I heard about, and they say they just make this they gave this before you can eat there, you have to like book like a year, 2 years before.
Yeah.
I mean, I heard about it. I've not been there, and trust me, I'm not gonna go there because of their food. Definitely not. But I'm going there. Why? Because of the story they've sold out. Because of how
Mm.
they've made me feel. So there are a lot of luxurious places like that.
I mean, it's a combination. It's more of a combination. Of course, you're going for the food, but that's about like 20% of it, right?
Yeah.
80% of it is about the experience that you're going through. You're getting the whole waiting period, that kind of anticipation that's coming. So,
Yes, exactly. You get exactly. So that's very important. So after heritage and storytelling, we also have exclusivity and scarcity. People like really like, especially most people or most upcoming luxury brands, like really different, like don't understand what scarcity and exclusivity is about. They are
hmm,
forced to want to sell things that they get carried away by what they see, and they don't know that exclusivity is a strategy, like that
hmm,
every brand, luxury brand should have. You should learn to control access. Not everybody has access to your product. Man, it's not luxury anymore because I
yeah,
should want to get a bag that when my friends see it, they'll be like, "Oh my god!" Like I want to feel that way. Everybody should not have access to it.
hmm,
No, that's not luxury for me. I mean, that's
hmm,
regular. If I wanted regular, I know where I could get regular. But if I want to
yeah,
come to your luxury brand, you should learn to control access. There
hmm,
should be scarcity, there should be exclusivity. If you're dropping 50 collect like 50 made, for example, clothes this year, let it be 50, let your 50 be 50. You don't have
hmm,
to be heavyweight. That's what you're selling. So that's
hmm.
another strategy that every luxury brand owners like learn to have. Like it's very important. Learning to like control their assets, learning to like put people in their place. Oh, what do you think about that, Rheanne?
See, I think luxury strategizing ultimately
Mm-hmm.
can be broken down into one word. Just as you said with the Japanese restaurant, it all comes down to
Yeah.
experience, right?
Mm-hmm.
You are, and I'm sure Neil will agree with this, because when we think about a certain process, right, why are we putting so much thought into it? Because it's about the process and the experience, the time and effort that's going into all of the methods, all of the points that are happening before you buy that end purchase, right? Like, for example, if you're walking into a high end jewelry store, right, you're going to have an individual sales associate with you. She's going to be walking you through, he or she's going to be walking through with you. If you're going to this Japanese restaurant, you're going to be seeing that someone's seated with you. You're going to have a calls person fully following up with you every single time, right? It's about the experience.
Yeah.
In front of the chef,
Yeah.
watching him making your omakase, making your sashimi, making your sushi rolls, everything happening live. This is an experience that you're not going to get at a regular restaurant.
Sure.
So people are paying $200, $300 blowing off pockets, right? For this experience that's coming on. So yeah, I completely, if I can put it down, boil it down into one word, it's about the experience
The
and how good
experience.
it is.
Okay.
There are a couple of mistakes which generally, people, whenever basically backlash on this segment as a creator when they are building a luxury brand, and they have been all around that they speak more and they show less. They are all about that we do this, 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 this. But when I'm able to see nothing. The difference is that
Well,
value driven brands need customers which require intense clarity on the smallest points out there. They require workflows because, of course, those customers are not there for specific reputation with a specific desire. Instead, they are there to upgrade a particular pattern of their lifestyle or upgrade something which they have been choosing to do till date. When we talk about luxury segment from a customer's aspect, it is not a necessity. It is neither comfort. It is something which is a surplus where the customer wants to add on the belongingness of that particular product within their shelf. So that's why you see majorly onto digital experiences. They show more. Luxury brands always show more and speak less. They never ever showcase every single thing, what it is made of, why it is made. They just give you an instance, a glimpse of this is what it is. If you really want to know more, they just shoot a spark of curiosity. And right after that, you go all the way, all across the internet, knowing here and there about it. This way, the more effort as a customer you are making in order to achieve information about it, you're gaining that intensity of reputation in your mind as well. That this is something high level, this is something I desire to achieve, and the intensity of effort you have made in order to even extract that information is making you feel much, much more full of desire in order to get that fast. But now comes the second segment. Value driven brands, have intense availability in every other city, in every other country. They have middlemen who provide stuff very easy. But then when we talk about the availability out there, you just see that this particular product is 70 miles away from my place. It is only available with one specific outlet or a store or a vendor. This makes it even more exclusive because if it is everywhere around you that you see 2.5 miles away, this is available. Okay. Then after 4 miles, there's another store where is it available. So it is just like a daily utility thing. No more becomes that achievability. So you need to even feel, you generally would have seen that these products are lesser in availability, which makes a scarcity in the person's head to achieve them faster. And lastly, when we talk about the positioning mistake, another one, and which is that in order to create this strong brand identity out there, brand builders and even companies fail or forget to take personalization into consideration. They believe that whatever thing they are delivering is worth the cost. No personalization is considered. And I'm not talking about every other brand, but majorly this is a misconception which generally comes when people who are in the development or designing stage for that product or that brand value, they fail to understand or take the customers into consideration, which lacks personalization. Now, I, as a customer, am able to see these few line of products, but I'm probably not able to relate with either of them. This way, of course, the brand or just the brand value is okay for me, but it's not relatable.
Yeah, that connection factor is very important.
So these are the three common misconceptions which majorly, brand builders do. And once they start neglect, just the way, Rheanne just gave this example, that you go to this amazing restaurant where the chef is showcasing life skills, but you are involved with the chef. You are participating in getting your cuisine ready. You can choose the ingredients, but the very same way the chef tells, I know my job. Let me do my job. You are a great spectator here. That way, Rheanne will simply disconnect with the factor that I appreciate their high value and high reputation, but this is not for me. I hardly would like to come here out there. This is not for me.
I think for food deal, it's a little bit different because, or film, because you come into the point where you want to see the process being done without having any
Yes.
involvement.
Hmm.
Because you're coming so far, like when you're in your own kitchen, you're doing the work, right? You know the processes that's
Yeah.
happening, you are doing
Yeah.
everything.
Hmm.
And to get that experience, you just want to disconnect. You don't want to be part of the process. You just want the
But
end
you want to
outcome of
see.
great food.
Yeah.
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 So seeing that is like much more like, I mean, if we can compare it to, say, Subway, it's not high end, right? We
Hmm.
are choosing the ingredients, we are choosing our bread, we are choosing our cheese, but it doesn't feel personalized. We don't feel like we're getting something special made for us, right? Whereas for, I would say, high end restaurants, these kind of places, it's about the courses, it's about the easeability.
Mhm. It's even about, taking personalization when you're innovating a new product line.
Hmm.
Whenever you're willing to take customers into consideration, how about you simply pull a pool of people for surveys, for market
Hmm.
research purposes? Your existing customers, shoot them an email, not by telling them that what is the aim, instead, just asking them that we love our valued customers and we would like to hear from you. This way, these small standpoints, either it's a feedback, it's a suggestion, or even a complaint. All of these things should be blend well when that new innovation is happening behind the scenes. So these small
Hmm.
points do really matter. And when, as a customer, I am able to see even a small glimpse of betterment of what I was feeling earlier, I will be able to feel that I am being heard. This is really from me. Instead, okay, it is just out there. I just cannot connect with it. But because the society values this particular logo out there, this name out there, which is why I'm just owning it.
Hmm.
That's a major difference. Yeah, and especially in this modern era where names and reputation are great, but people really look forward to what's in there for me. Is it something for me? If not, you're great with your name, but I. So the same way, we have. I'd like to understand this from Faith that whenever we differentiate these offline experiences and online experiences as a brand builder. So how different it is to create these digital experiences out there. When we talk about positioning a luxury brands, when we talk about pushing that intense impact, generally the perceived value for this luxury brand. So how would you like to share your insights on creating that and how these consumers somewhere interpret? So do you use any specific ways to understand this or what's the whole workflow?
Okay. Nihil, I think you're talking about the social media strategy. Yeah.
Kind of the social media or even the website, any digital experience for a brand.
Okay. All right. So for the social media or building online presence as a lingerie brand, it's quite different to be sincere because we're not like every mass marketers or we're not like every mass market platform. These people could go online, go on website, post 10 times a day, up on TikTok trenders, post out men, run flashy sales, discount. It's normal for them. But for luxury brand, it's more about discipline and
Right.
restraint. You're restraining yourself from this thing because you're not following trends. I said it earlier, you're not following the trend. You're not trying to please people. No, you're not doing that. You're creating your timeless experience. So it's totally different when it comes to all of them. Because that's the mistake that many luxury brand owners make. They try to compare themselves with other mass owners, and it's not the same thing. The first thing about luxury brand when it comes to like showing up online is exclusivity. it is very important to be very exclusive because as much as you want to like have an online presence or in your website or your email, you have to be as exclusive as possible because that's what you're selling. That's your strategy.
Mm,
You're not showing out everything. Do you understand? I think you mentioned something about the cooking aspect and
mm,
for a luxury restaurant that want to like sell or they want to
yeah.
like bring themselves out on social media or any of their online presence, you can expect them
Mm-hmm.
to go detailed into what they're gonna do. Because if I'm seeing everything that's gonna be happening at that restaurant, what's the point of me going there? But they have to be like teasers. You have to be as exclusive as possible. Because
Yeah.
it's not something you're offering to everybody. So if I'm to come, because the only reason I would want to go to any restaurant that is luxurious it's because I know what I get to gain from there. I know, okay, I
Mm,
know I'm seeing the chef expertise there, for example. And if for every meal, the old video of, for example, they take a video of the chef, doing the processing, everything is posted online, and I see that everybody is seeing exactly what I'm going to pay to see. I mean, that's not luxury. That's
mm,
literally to everybody's disposal. I don't want that. So I would look,
mm,
you would have to be as exclusive as possible there. Yes,
mm,
there is something you have to gain. Yes, there is. You can put Caesars. You can put something to draw their attention, but you can
yeah.
be like you can just put it everywhere. No, it's not possible. Not every of your followers or every of your whoever is called that should be an insider. No, they should come in to experience what you're gonna make them feel. That's one thing luxury brand owners like think about that they should make people desire the brand. So when you're showing up online, offline, on website, on any platform they are making
Mm,
people desire. You're not begging. So that's
Yes.
the most important thing that they should look at. And they should also understand
yeah.
that less is more. When it comes to luxury, less is more. More is not less. It's not the same thing. Just
Mm,
one thing you're gonna post, just one thing is gonna bring out what you need. Luxury doesn't overshare. No, it's not a competition. You're your own competitor. That's how
you're setting
amazing
your own
luxury is.
benchmark. I wanted to also understand, Faith, like, I'm not super, I mean, of course, everybody uses social media, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Everybody has Instagram, everybody has Facebook, whatever. But from the back end, like in simple words, what's your favorite part of the actual social media strategy? There are so many platforms, there are so many
Mm-hmm.
types of processes. People are doing new things every single time. Like I recently just saw this new Instagram layout of like these tiny videos, and these are these trends that are coming up, right? So, what's your favorite part of the entire process, right, when a client comes to you? What do you look forward to the most?
Setting up the page layouts. Yeah, that might look very little, but to me, it's
Mm,
something I look forward to because they call it page audit or page layout. What
mm,
does this mean? It means if I own a luxury brand and I sell jewelry, and we're in the world of social media, we're in the world of technology, so literally everybody wants to like you mention a brand, they check online, what's this brand? People
mm,
literally have online perception about brands before they actually involve themselves with this brand. So that's how social media matters. And once I go online to search up
mm.
a brand, the first thing I'm gonna stumble on is their page. And then if the page layout is standard, that's very, very so that's the first important thing to your client.
The
So
touch
I
point.
feel that all right. So I would like to ask though to Nihil and of course probably also Rheanne. But this question is majorly to Nihil. What are the common mistakes? I mean, most common mistakes that luxury branding does, and how does consultant fix this? Because there are many mistakes that we know the luxury brand owners makes, why starting up or why branding themselves when it comes to luxury branding. So, like, we know how important consulting might be, but how does consulting actually fix these mistakes to like put these people in the right path or make them brand properly as luxury brands?
Okay. Well, that's actually quite a nice question because generally,
Mhm.
consultants are conceived into several different forms. That consultants are majorly into management or different other fields. But of course, every branding aspect does require a consultant. And brand builders and consultants should uh, almost, work parallel. Because what happens is that generally when brand builders are working onto certain segments, they work with marketers, they work with other multiple other media and creative teams. So the end planner is always a consultant. The first blueprint is always a consultant in any field. Like either it's about a product, it's about the marketing section, it's the creative section. So this person or this team of people always has to direct. Now, talking about the pool of mistakes which people generally make is marketing teams chase trends, but the actual voice of the brand there gets missed because they jump onto every other trend just for the sake of engagement. This way, people aren't able to actually relate that today you already are chasing something. The other moment, the other month, some other trend comes up. And choosing to settle or fit into every other trend out there questions the brand reputation very, very heavily. Secondly, there's always a tone, a voice, and in which a brand always should speak. And this is what defines their reputation very, very much. Now, this way, the look and feel, along with the end perceived value, even gets questioned. For example, we see that there are brands who talk authoritative. Now, these authoritative brands start getting into trends which are moreover extreme fun driven, Gen Z driven. This may change their voice. This might make them get confused in the market because the end user for these authoritative brands have been people who already have a specific perceived value. Whereas the ones which are Gen Z, if they start speaking extremely with that witty tone, let's say, they may lose customers and their reputation because then it's creating a different confusion in their positioning and segmentation. Then you would see, putting every other celebrity, despite their background, on a luxury brand wall. Either it could be from any other industry, but just for the sake of this transactional tone, it makes the brand feel much more inauthentic because this celebrity has this face, this facial value, and gaining every other person among that industry, among that community, of course, and that makes a disconnect. That, let's say, a sports celebrity won't be the won't be a great fit into a luxury fashion brand. But if in case it's an active luxury brand, then for sure a sports face would be a better fit. Then focusing majorly onto uh, instead of giving long term value, which is focusing on no compromising perceptions. They choose moreover onto sales, discounts, promotions. They make it much more simply easy to avail. Instead, they can choose something which is much more stronger. And but because these discounts, these sales contradicts their high end value.
Yeah.
And that way, exclusivity gets questioned, especially in the digital age. Then, as you mentioned, less is more. You are giving every other aspect for the end user to question that.
And so, I'd like to ask a question. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I get really like fascinated when two similar luxury brand owners come to meet me. They
Mm,
have the same products and the same niche, and in rare cases, though, in the same location. So,
mm,
I'm definitely I know that luxury is a personal thing with storytelling and all.
mm,
These two brands can thrive separately and flourish, even though they have literally the same product in
mm,
common.
mm. See, that's a really good question because we have so many people in the same location. right? The demography of these people, of the creators, they're the same. So they're affected by the same principles. They have the same cultural values. They have the same views on, you could say, like a majority of other situations which are external to them, right? But for their differentiation, it ultimately comes up to not just the product, because the product can be exactly the same, but what the founder thinks ultimately. What is their end goal with this product? What is the end experience that they want to provide to their customer? Because no two founders will want to give the same experience. Everybody thinks that we have different products, right? Everybody thinks we have very special products, or very, maybe even the same product, but the end goal, the process that happens. For example, a founder, like founder A, would think I have this really high end shoe, a shoe brand, right? And founder B, exactly the same high end shoe brand, but they live in the same location, they have the same target audience, everything is the same. How do you differentiate this, right? Founder A is not going to want to have the same experience. Founder B is not going to want to have the same experience. Just for example, not taking a luxury high end brand, but Puma and Adidas, they're basically, you would say, from the outside perspective, if you ask me, it's the same, right? Of course, if we get into the technical parts, they're not the same. But ultimately, to somebody who doesn't understand brand positioning, brand identity, they are the same. What makes it different? Who are the people that are associated with the brand? Somebody that is associated with Puma, for example, a brand activist or a brand persona, a brand ambassador, is completely different for Puma, and they are not tied with Adidas. Similarly, Adidas has a brand ambassador who's not tied with another person. This creates a connect to those two brands and their positioning. Even if the product is the same, if the target audience is the same, they have these two different personas created. Similarly, for luxury brands, you create a persona for one of the brands and for the other as well. So this creates completely different brand images for your end target audience. So that's usually how I would target with these luxury products. When they have very similar niches, you would think about the end goal of the founder story.
Just the way you would say that, as you took to the nature, guys. Earlier, you must have known these actually belong to two real brothers, Adi Dassler and Adi later on, the Earl Dassler.
Yeah.
Earlier, the heritage comes from their original name, which was the Dassler shoe company.
Yeah.
But gradually, the rivalry between two
Very
brothers.
popular story.
Yes, yes, yes. And gradually, this rivalry made a shift. Dassler shoe company could have been taken into the same story, but how these founders separated them into two different individual entities as Puma, an individual independent name, whereas Adidas going the same with a complete different independence. So of course, they have a heritage, but a collaborative heritage, and how that story has been carried forward to individual independent entities, recognition, and the consumer perceptions. Yeah, I completely do. Faith, what would you like to say?
Okay, on my part, I totally agree with you and Rheanne. It's all about the personnel, like how you also like differentiate yourself. Because at the end of the day, we might both be selling shoe, but we might both be selling shoes, but there's something that distinguishes your shoe from my shoe. There is a different thing. Because I mean, we're not the same founders, yeah. We're not the same. We're not the same. It's not the same mindset. We're not the same
Mm.
brand. It's something that differentiates you from me. But I get these questions a lot because literally everybody wants to be and because just because I want to start off a shoe brand does not mean I have to look at outside and be like, oh, there are a lot of luxury brands. I'll still start off my
Mm.
brand because I believe that there's something I have that they may not have, or there's
Mm.
something I have that they may not have. Just like the examples you mentioned, we have stands of Adidas, stands for Puma, there's stands for Nike, there's stands for different, and they are literally football shoes. Do you
Yeah.
get? But everybody with their preference. I might have
Mm.
my own target audience. It's not depending on who you also targeting to. Everybody will work what works for them.
Mm.
But founder A might just be dealing with only like, for example, if he founded bags, just like just for some certain class, and founder B for some certain class. So it's all depending on your values, why you're doing this, and who you're communicating with. So yes, that's another angle I see mine. And also for other questions that like another question that keeps coming to me, or like I keep guessing that I would like to like bring to this place is, I've met a lot of founders, startup businesses, and they're all about their first year of sales. Yeah, I understand the fact that luxury brands are not like the primary goal. It's not just sales alone, but every other thing that comes in it. But sales are also like mandatory because I mean I'm doing business. And they all about their first year being very tough and difficult, and especially when it comes to sales. Since you're not supposed to be pushy, you're not supposed to be sale like market driven or just full of sales and discounts, and it's supposed to be exclusive with scarcity. How do you think they can deal with their first year or first 5 years of business? Anyone?
Rheanne, would you like to?
No, I think Neil, this as a founder, you may have these kind of insights into what kind of outlook.
Okay.
I'm also keen to understand because definitely it's a problem that happens. Everybody wants to start a business, right?
Yeah.
Well, I would say that if you as a founder, or a person as a founder would like to actually get into such a stage, they can firstly emphasize on what exactly they are trying to build. Nowadays, you would see that there's a consistent trend of becoming a founder. You would see that people, because the tag of turning a factor and the responsibilities, the values, and the story and the skill set required in order to bring that product, firstly, market ready, is a completely different destiny. I won't say that people shouldn't become founders, but people should know why they are becoming founders. Just
Um,
a founder tag is, of course, yeah, that's nice and fancy, but firstly, you need to own a particular story of clarity, self clarity, that why you're becoming. There will be hundreds of hurdles. Firstly, will be lack of funds. When you're starting a luxury brand, of course, it's not a value driven. You won't start making sales on day. Maybe you may not make
um,
any sale till a month, maybe next 6 months. Are
yeah.
you financially ready for it? If not, what is the source or flow of your finance until you make your first move? Right. Second, how you are going to basically finance other ends. Let's say marketing, let's say innovation, let's say product development, and let's say the manufacturing procedures. How are these being led? Who is leading it? Are you the only person leading it? If yes, you need to think that luxury, if they are being just led by one single person, may not be able to create that intensity of value, that intensity of quality, because you are not at all targeting a valued customer. Instead, you're targeting a customer where you want to showcase desire, not affordability. So you need to be very, very much mentally prepared with that section, that do you have a flow of finances, how your budget looks like, how much segment are you going to make in every single department when you're building it. Then the faces even whom you are choosing to work with you, what skill sets they bring, not just the skill sets. Do they have the flex to basically go back and forth among different segments of each of that department? Because generally you see in startup companies, everyone is doing everything. But when we talk about luxury sectors, people require the best top notch quality and they cannot compromise that. You're trying to position it as a high end value product. You're trying to showcase yourself as exclusive, but exclusivity doesn't come by lessening down the availability. It comes when the person is able to basically find that intensity value in your story, in every single thing you do, the way you sit, the way you speak, the way you present, every single thing, either it's your product or your story or your positioning or your experience. So
Daniel,
that
continue.
way,
Yeah.
it's a lot more in comparison to just becoming a value driven founder versus becoming a luxury founder. Because in the next 5 years, you have no clue what is going to come up to you in the next 1 year. You should have a plan, but you need to be very much financially, mentally, emotionally ready. Because this is not time thing when you are building something that high value? I would have as a take on this question of it. So does it really help that question of it?
Please, yes, it does. I'm so happy. Yes, thank you so much, Nihil. Because being a founder also, I just one personal like question I keep asking myself. Of course, my own view of it is quite different because I'm not offering a product. Mine is more of services. I thought social it's more services, not product. So
Mm.
but I do have clients that come to me, when we have this consultation and they like, my first year is very crazy, and I just wanted to know just how it is because on my own part, I look at it as, I'm trying to build a workflow. I'm not looking at my profits in my first year. I'm looking if I'm making a change or not because it would be so crazy if I'm making profits and my workflow is not balanced. I'm not building a structure. So I
Right.
prefer to take my time to build a structure. And I know how I count my goals. I know how and what you said about you doing everything as a luxury brand, I think many founders like find it very difficult. Everybody wants to be a founder. It's a nice name to hear about. But I used to say something that if you're a founder and in your absence, your business is stagnant, you're not a founder. You're nothing. That's not what being a founder entails. A founder is being able to set a workflow, set a pattern, set a system that even in your absence, even when you're not there, things are running smoothly. And I believe that you should build your first few years in setting the system. I mean, setting the standard. What do you think, Rhianne?
I know completely. I agree. I think both very valid points from both sides. Where like I'm getting inputs from two founders, so it's very. I think the main grasp, especially for financial stability, your financial capital has to just be locked and loaded before you get into any long-term project, right? And
Yeah.
nothing is certain with sales. Nothing is certain with positive outcomes. So there needs to be a contingency for all of these things.
If
Definitely.
you are
Yeah.
ready to be a change maker, then it's great. Because becoming a founder nowadays is very, very easy. Every other person, despite their age, despite their experience, is turning up a
Right.
founder for like 6 months, founder for 1 year, and then you see startup is failed. And so just like, people are becoming that they are like 10x founders. They founded 10x companies, which worked probably neither. Because of course they just
Hmm.
wanted the path of becoming a founder the way it feels. A very transparent reason, financial stability there.
Yes, yes. Because I mean, I don't know why you would not be financially stable before going into luxury.
Just that.
I mean, I used to, yeah, I tell them that mentally prepare yourself that in your next 5 years, you're not thinking about the money. You were pushing into your business. And I mean, I've met a founder that for the first 1 year, salary of his staff were from his pocket. And
Hmm.
he was making sales. I mean, he was making sales. And
Hmm.
that's the kind of mindset that many founders should put about because financial stability is very important. It is
Yeah.
very key. Very key.
Hmm.
Very
Thank you
key.
so much.
That's truly a pleasure. And with this, we have reached the concluding stage of the very first conversation. And I really, really thank both of you to give us your valuable time out there. Thank you, Faith, for joining us and giving such amazing and lovely conversation, having you here, amazing luxury brand development, building, creation insights. So I wish to have much more conversations coming up from you in the upcoming episodes out there. So thank you
All
very
right.
much. And I'll join all of you in the next one.